Everybody, this is Becca from Empowering Pumps and Equipment. I'm very excited to have Steve Mosely here with Industrial Flow Solutions. Steve is going to be talking to us about choosing the right pump. Steve, why don't you introduce yourself and let us know what we're going to learn today?
Hi, my name is Steve Mosely, and I am the product manager here at Industrial Flow Solutions. We're going to talk about pump selection, specifically around some wastewater and high temperature corrosive applications. And then we'll have a brief review of the web-based pump selector that we offer here at Industrial Flow Solutions.
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited to learn from you, and why don't you take it away?
All right. Today we will talk about choosing the right pump for submersible wastewater applications. Today's webinar will cover the various selection criteria for submersible pumping applications, with special focus on how to handle difficult solids handling challenges in wastewater applications. We will take a quick look at the online product selector offered by Industrial Flow Solutions. At the end of the webinar, we will have a quick Q&A session. Some advantages provided by submersible pumps are inherent to their design. By placing the pump into the liquid, you will always have a flooded suction and sufficient net positive suction head available. This is a critical feature when handling high temperature liquids, as long suction lines can cause the high temperature liquids to flash into steam, causing the pumps to lose prime. This also provides an advantage when operating at high elevations with limited net positive suction head available at the pump impeller inlet. The close coupled motor of submersible pumps also shortens the overall shaft length, reducing shaft deflection and eliminating bearing lubrication requirements common to vertical sump pumps. The compact design, when placed on a slide rail assembly, also allows for easy removal for maintenance. Your choice of pump depends on the fluid you're pumping. In order to select the proper submersible pump, you first need to define the fluid you are trying to pump. Is this a clear liquid application, or is it a solids handling pump required? Is the fluid water-based, oil-based, or are there any chemicals present? Chemicals can increase the specific gravity and will need to be checked for material compatibility with pump components. Often, you have a combination of these difficulties present, which can complicate the pump selection process. Although the solids concentration in wastewater can be low, modern wastewater contains a lot of difficult products, which can be problematic for standard submersible pumps to pass. Flushable wipes can build up in the pump body, causing reduced performance or clogging. And in food and beverage plants, the solids can be from product packaging, such as bottles, caps, labels, or styrofoam, or parts of the product itself, meat, feathers, bones, pieces of fruit, etc. In some municipal and industrial applications, a pump with shredding capability is necessary to prevent clogging. And many food and beverage plants also perform periodic clean and place cycles, which involve a variety of chemicals at high temperature, which add another challenge for the pump selection. Many food processing and bottling plants have washdown sumps that can catch meat byproducts, scraps, cans, bottle caps, rubber gloves, or other solids that need to be processed before they can be passed downstream. And now we're looking at selecting the right solids handling pump for your application. The question of solids passage versus solids reduction can come up in many applications due to the wide variety of items that can get flushed or washed into a wastewater pit. In the past, the main school of thought was to pass these solids whole to allow them to be caught on bar screen at the treatment plant for easy removal. Non-clog pumps accomplish this through the use of tall impeller vanes and large solids passages, which work well in the majority of soft solids. Tougher, stringier solids, however, have a tendency to ball up in the eye of the impeller and can clog these pump designs. One method of combating this clogging issue is to use a vortex pump, which removes the impeller from the flow path, as shown in the diagram here. Vortex pumps generally have many impeller vanes to help induce the vortex in the fluid beneath the impeller to generate flow. The removal of the impeller from the flow path allows for those stringier solids to pass beneath the impeller and through the discharge line, but it comes at the cost of efficiency. Vortex pumps are inefficient by design and are generally best suited for lower head applications. Another option is a solids reducing pump. Solids reducing pump designs are necessary in a variety of applications, and there are many different designs available, including grinder pumps, shredder pumps, and chopper pumps. Grinder pumps can provide the high heads necessary to pump into pressure sewer systems and are generally well suited for soft solids. Shredder pumps can handle most of the items that unintentionally get into the waste stream, and chopper pumps can be used in those applications with the most extreme solids, which require a highly engineered solution. Be aware that in some applications with high concentrations of difficult solids, you may need to size the motor to provide sufficient shredding torque, even though that may provide a higher flow rate than specified. In addition to the types of solids present, it is also necessary to consider the nature of the fluid itself. Many applications contain aggressive chemicals that can corrode cast iron or bronze pump components and can also attack O-rings, seals, and power cable materials. Pumps can be constructed of plastics, 316 stainless steel, or more exotic alloys and duplex stainless steels to help resist these chemicals. An even wider range of elastomers are available based on the type of chemicals present. Commonly used are EPDM, FKM, Viton, and Buna. In order to determine what pump materials are compatible with the chemicals in your application, consult one of the many publicly available chemical compatibility charts. These charts are available through both pump and chemical manufacturers. Lastly, we need to check what the temperature of the fluid is. In the past, many submersible pumps were only rated for liquids up to 104 degrees Fahrenheit, leaving them unsuitable for applications which included higher temperature liquids. However, the advent of high temperature submersible pumps, which can handle liquids up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, has opened up many of these applications for upgrades to submersible pump designs. The submersible option will allow for a more compact pump installation with a reduction in bearing failures due to the much shorter shafts on close coupled submersible pumps. High temperature submersible pumps have been used extensively in boiler blowdown applications, steam distribution systems, and clean in place applications in food processing, bottling, and pharmaceutical plants. Please note the effects of chemical attack on pump materials can be increased as temperature rises. It is very important to check the temperature limitations on high temperature application with chemicals to ensure that the materials are suitable. Now we've got a couple of case studies that we're going to go through. Managing wastewater at a hospital is a challenging application due to the types of solids which can find themselves into the lift stations. There's the ever-present challenge of flushable wipes, which are a common nuisance in most wastewater lift stations. There are also the possibility of additional solids such as rubber gloves, syringes, and other difficult to pump solids from entering the lift station. One hospital in California was experiencing frequent clogs with 7 sewage ejector pits used to pump wastewater to the municipal sewer system. Frequent clogging led to excessive numbers of failed pumps and a significant cost associated with removing and replacing them. Often maintenance and staff were being called in to help with these replacements, and overtime and holiday wages were piling up. So they made the decision to replace the pump system with pumps that needed to reliably shred flush solids to reduce their maintenance expenses. The hospital worked with the local service engineer to select BJM pumps, SK series shredder pumps for the installation. The SK series non-clog pumps are engineered to shred waste materials with a tungsten carbide tipped shredder tooth, which rips apart solids against the serrated suction plate. The 360-degree shredding action and non-clog impellers were perfectly suitable for processing disposable wipes, rags, and other solids up to 3.5 inches in size. The second case study we'll take a look at is for a brewery wastewater treatment system. One application that includes a variety of the challenges we've discussed is the washdown sump at a brewery. These sumps contain high temperature wort, which is unfermented beer. Due to the brewing process, this is a low pH liquid, which requires a 316 stainless steel. This sump also commonly contains spent grains and hops from the brewing process. And in addition to these solids, the brewery undergoes a clean in place process on all brewing and fermenting equipment each time it is used. This CIP process uses high temperature caustic and acid washes, as well as a sanitizer. Due to clogging issues with their previous pumps, the brewery approached an OEM who specialized in waste treatment systems for breweries and wineries throughout North America. The OEM considered all options for the application and selected an SX22 CSSF pump for this wastewater sump. The SX22 CSSF was the ideal choice as it utilized a non-clog impeller design to pass the small solids present in brewery wastewater. The pump is also constructed of precision cast 316 stainless steel, which can resist the corrosive effects of the wort and the various chemicals present in the clean in place process. Last but not least, the SX22 CSSF includes a proprietary high temperature motor design, which allows the pump to operate continuously in liquids up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, thus allowing the pump to handle the hot wort and hot CIP cycles which enter the sump. Since the installation, these pumps have provided more than 4 years of trouble-free service. And now that we've gone through those two case studies, we are going to use the IFSelect pump selector to try to recreate those pump selections. Becca, can you see my screen here? Perfect.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so we're going to go into the IFSelect system. It's readily available from the Industrial Flow Solutions website. Once you start to log in, you've got a few options. You can create a new account, or if you're not ready to register, you can continue as a guest to make a pump selection. The benefits of registering for an account will allow you to save your pump selections and review them at a later date if needed. Once you've logged into the selection system, you can go to Select Equipment. And from this Select Equipment screen, you'll be able to enter all of the application parameters necessary. For the hospital wastewater, we're going to review an application that's 400 gallons per minute at 30 feet of head. Confirm that our liquid is water and we're at ambient temperature. And we can also add a filter for the application. By picking the solids handling application filter, this selector will show us only pumps which can handle municipal wastewater solids. Select all and go through a search. And within the system, it is now pulling up every offering that Industrial Flow Solutions has that can meet that operating point. We just need a standard cast iron pump, so we'll choose our SK55C. And then once we've entered the selection, we can review the various documents available and print out a PDF of the datasheet and performance curve. We can also save our project to the system. So we're going to save this as hospital wastewater. If I can spell it. And now we can go back and review that selection at a later date. If we find out that the parameters have changed, we can change them within the selection. And the data sheet and performance curve will always be available for us to download as needed. We'll go back to our selection program. We go back to our input screen. We can make our second selection for the brewery wastewater application. For this application, we're going to reduce the flow rate to 120 GPM at 40 feet. We will use our material selection to select stainless steel, since we know that typically breweries require stainless steel for their corrosive environments. And we'll change the water temperature to 180 degrees Fahrenheit for the clean in place cycles. You'll notice as I was entering different parameters, it changed the available product lines to select. So it is changing your selection in real time. We can now go through our search for this SKXF, and we have two options. The SKX22 meets the operating point at a better point along the performance curve, so we'll take that option. And we can save this one as our brewery wastewater application. All right. If you ever run into a situation where you cannot find a suitable selection within our pump selector, please feel free to reach out to any of our applications engineers. We may have another option that is not available within the pump selector, or we may be able to make some recommendations to the customer on how to change their application to better fit one of our suitable selections. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to move to the question and answer portion of this.
I think that selector is awesome, Steve. I wanted to ask you, so you talked in one of the case studies, the hospital was using a shredder pump, but the brewery, was that also a shredder pump that you used, or was that a different type?
For the brewery application, that was a standard non-clog pump.
Okay.
The solids were small enough that we determined we didn't need the shredding capability in that application.
Okay. That's awesome. So I mean, for on your website and being able to see what's going to work with your application, I have a distributor background, so that's always where my mind goes of this is a real asset for distributors who are trying to spec a pump for their customer. But who else is this going to be really valuable for, to be able to just go on your website and plug and play?
So this pump selector is available for distributors, specifying engineers or end users who need to make a selection, may not be ready to engage with a distributor at the moment, but are looking for a solution that they need for a problem they have.
Awesome. And so, when you're putting in your information, what if, depending on their specs, nothing comes up in the search for their selections?
At that point, we recommend reaching out to an applications engineer, whether it be at a local distributor who can come out to the plant and review the application with the customer, or with Industrial Flow Solutions. Our application engineers are well versed in all of the products we offer, and there may be an option that's not readily available from the pump selector that they know of and can work with the customer to select.
Okay. Now, in the kind of focus that you had said about grinders, choppers, and shredders, if someone is having a clogging issue, do they need to move to a shredder style pump, or what are the other solutions? I know the brewery wasn't a shredder pump, so what are your suggestions, I guess, when people are having clogging issues?
So when you're having a clogging issue, there are a few different options that you have. One of the main options would be to install either a shredder or a chopper pump to process the solids and send them downstream. If for some reason they're not ready to upgrade the pump itself, they could install some method of protecting the pump from the trash, whether it be a trash basket, which has to periodically be cleaned, or some sort of screen around the pump to prevent solids from entering it. That option's not ideal because it still requires some maintenance involved, whether it's cleaning the trash basket or getting a vac truck out to pull the trash out of the pit. The third option would be to use some sort of control technology, which would sense the clogs and reverse the pumps to try to clear them periodically. Industrial Flow Solutions does have the deragger technology, which can handle some of that.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's always interesting from my perspective of it's hard. I feel like you want to go, oh, I have clogging issues. Let's just go for like the one that can chop up everything, but that's not necessarily where you need to go. There's a lot of different options that you can do. I understand your thoughts on, the baskets and that kind of stuff isn't necessarily a good solution. It's kind of just a Band-Aid. But having someone to be able to come out and look at the whole system and see what's going to be the most efficient and effective way to not be clogging is probably, the most of benefit for the person using the pump.
Yeah, and sometimes changing the pump out may not be the most economical option. Upgrading the control system may be a more economical option to reverse the pump and prevent the clog.
Awesome. Well, I think that being able to see the technology that you guys have available for people to be able to pick their own pump, giving them kind of the power, if you will, to figure out some things on their end. And obviously they still need to go through designated sources to move forward with purchasing pumps. So from your perspective on once someone figures out what pump through the website on the selection tool that they need, is there a way that they can then kind of right on there figure out the next steps for purchasing that?
One of the best ways to determine the next step would be to reach out to our customer service department at Industrial Flow Solutions. They can put you in touch with the local distributor in the area that can help with purchasing that particular pump. And actually, I've got a slide which has the contact information. So we'll put that up just so that everybody knows how to reach us.
Perfect.
All right. And for any more information needed, whether to log into the pump selector, you can visit www.flowsolutions.com, or you can contact our team at applications@flowsolutions.com or sales@flowsolutions.com if you just need to find a local distributor.
Awesome. Well, Steve, thank you so much for your time. It was really great to hear about the different options and then see the tool in action. And it's very easy and seems to be user-friendly. So I think a lot of people are going to find it a useful tool, and I appreciate your time and showing us how to use it.
Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for taking the time to log in and view this webinar.